The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Christmas special of the Sciforror Film Podcast. I am Andy Walker, as always, although I may change my name by default for next year, just to confuse things.
The only person it would have confused is yourself when you forget.
Yes, probably. Anyway, I'm joined today here by Scott, as always.
Hello,
Scott. And,
hello.
And the delightful Amy. Hello, Amy.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, so as advertised, we are reviewing two Christmas feature films. The horror film Mother Krampus and the science fiction film Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Now, the question is, which one do we want to start with? Which fancy?
Oh. Let's go with Mother Krampus.
Oh, we have to.
Yeah, let's get that one out of the way.
We'll start with Mother Krampus, shall we?
Get that out of the way. That's pretty much how we decided to watch them today.
Okay.
But let's do this and get it out of the way.
So this is a 2017 film directed by James Claus. It's done by House on Elm Lane Films, and produced by lots of horror. Written by Scott Jeffrey and James Claus. I've got confused. I've written notes over notes here. Don't know what I'm doing. Scott Jeffrey and James Claus have produced a lot of films. But yeah, I'm not sure it's the first time they've directed. Maybe I don't know. Producer was Tyler McGowran, who was in a lot of films that have been made by James Claus. In fact, all the people involved in this have been in his films.
Yeah, I was going to say, they've all been in each other's films and have something to do with each other.
Yeah. Director of photography was Edward Liu. Editor Dan Allen. Music by Adam King. The cast: Claire Maria Fox, Tony Manders, Faye Goodwin, Tara McGowan, Michelle Archer, Thomas Ebsworth, Tom Bowen, Dottie James, Sian Crisps, Amy Burrows, Tim Freeman, Penelope Reed. We've got others. Who we got here? Oliver and John Lee, Becky Fletcham, Blythe Rosewarne, Clayton Frake, Javan Frake, Emily McQueen, Henry Smith, Melian Godfrey. The narrator is Terence Pickering, whoever that is, and the cat was played by Nimoy Summerscale.
What name?
Do you know what? I'm glad. I know it's really. I'm glad we watched the film just to find that out.
Yeah.
That's a cat name and a half. That is.
It's a good name, I must admit. Right, and let me see. The synopsis says, based on the urban legend, Mother Krampus is a witch that comes on the 12 days of Christmas, taking children each night. Dun, dun, dun. Duh. So this is actually an English horror film.
Yeah.
I was a little confused because it says that it's set in a place called Belgrave.
Yeah.
There's only two places in Belgrave in the UK that I can find called Belgrave. One's in Leicester and one's in Cheshire, but all of their accents sound like they come from London. So I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, and all the paperwork they use, all the newspapers, everything like that, say Braintree, Colchester, and Essex.
I know. It's a bit weird. I'm not sure it matters really, to be honest with you.
No.
Okay. The cinematography is pretty good throughout the film.
Yeah.
The acting is not. It's a bit hit and miss, to say the least. There's some good effects. Let's go on from there. What did you think?
You get first on this
I
one.
get right. Where do I start? Well, do you know what? Actually, I'll start from the title sequence. It was so cringeworthy. It was just. Oh, do you know what? Actually, the whole thing, and I do agree with you. There were certain effects in it, certain bits in it, and certain like the makeup on the wounds that were in it were amazing. The makeup on the witch was really bad, which confused me a lot. The whole thing. There's one line that I kept going back to. Me and Amy watched this together, and all I could do was keep going. It was so British, it hurt.
Yeah.
And that's all I kept saying the whole way through this film.
No, I must admit, it is very, very British.
And
So,
I don't know. There's just so much that I could just think of this film about.
all right, well, let's go for a general thing for the moment. That will do for the moment, and then we'll talk about the individual sort of like scenes and the actual things in the film. What about you, Amy? Overall,
see, I don't like being horrible about movies because, you know, a lot of people, they put the time and effort into it, and I'm too nice to be horrible. But from my point of view, I didn't enjoy it. It's like there's some bits, some of the storyline is very, very close to home with some stuff, like the deeper, sadder side to it is a lot relatable around Christmas time. It is relatable to a lot of people, and that I loved because it is something that a lot of people go through. But it's just the rest of it, I didn't enjoy it like at all. Yeah. It just weren't a film for me.
There was a lot about this film that I didn't really like.
Yeah.
But there was a lot about it that I loved because it was just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just found myself going, what?
This is the bit. It's that there was. I was saying this the whole way through it, but both me and Amy sat there the whole way through it, and there were certain bits that we were sitting there to go, but why?
Yeah, no. I mean, right, taking it from the beginning, the boy at the beginning in the church that gets taken.
Yeah.
All that kept going through my head was greedy git. He's followed a trail of sweets up to a big pile of sweets, then throws them on the floor and says, "Have you got any more sweets?"
Yeah,
he deserves to be taken away.
It just wouldn't happen. Like a normal kid, you see like a weird, shadowy person in the corner of a church, you're gonna scream and you're gonna go nowhere near it. And the fact that there's all these sweets trail up the church, how did not one adult in that building go, why are there sweets leading?
Especially the fact that it was just the parent that was turned away. The rest of the four people she was talking to were all facing down that aisle.
Oh, I know.
They would have seen them.
Yeah. I agree.
And I don't know. It's just all of it. It was just. But don't get me wrong, I get the fight. If this was an older film, then maybe I'd find it a bit more believable the way he was acting. Because obviously, as children have grown up, as we've grown up through things, a lot has changed for people. The way that children act, have been told to act, and told to act around different people, especially strangers. But this is a 2017 film where a kid walks up to a complete stranger.
I know.
Who is dressed all in black and says, "Have you got any more candy?"
The thing, I'll tell you one of the things that got me, right, is what I could get, right, they use a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah.
But the people involved don't look that much younger in the flashbacks than they do.
I did think that. I was like, are they all vampires? Did they not age?
They just think it's like they can't afford to make them look younger, so they just did the flashbacks for them as they are now.
The thing. There's certain bits within this film that is just I don't understand. Like We just sat there the whole way through it. The bit that's done me, and the bit that as soon as for me, and Amy pointed it out to me actually, the bit that done me and made me just my whole brain just switch off with this film.
Yeah.
Was the fact that when they go to the classroom and there's the two boys in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why was there a tent in the classroom?
Don't know.
That was my first question.
As soon as Amy said that to me, I then went, what? And I then clocked again, and I thought, I don't care anymore.
No, I don't know. There were lots of things like that. It's like, I mean, God, why did they have such an ugly bald cat? It's
Yeah, I don't know.
No, didn't quite understand that.
But it's things like she's looking for a key to the cabinet. It's so well hidden. It was in the drawer above the cabinet that was locked.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's exactly the bit that I loved, and I think you said it as well, was the weapons they used to fight off the witch.
Yeah, he's got lumps of tree.
See, I thought they were like wrapping paper.
No, they look like lumps of tree, like bits of tree branches with fairy lights wrapped around them. How were the thing that got me? This is the thing, right? Firstly, how were the fairy lights working? They weren't plugged in anywhere, so they must be battery operated. But they were already on when he opened the cabinet, the box that they were in. So how long have these batteries lasted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
what I love as well is the fact that he hands them out and no one questions it.
But why would you open a cabinet, take these branches out with the fairy lights right around, and leave an axe in the cabinet, in the box? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
There were certain bits
when they start attacking. They start attacking. The witch starts attacking things. Why did she attack the wardrobe? Why would you break a wardrobe apart with nothing in it?
I think your comment was the best bit of that.
What's that one?
About she's meant to be this powerful witch.
Oh yeah, a powerful witch. In any other film, any slight noise, they tweet, and that's it. They're on them. But this kid manages to escape and run out the house, but the witch is still hacking at the wardrobe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's the bit with the turtleneck sweater. One of the characters comes back to the house.
Yeah.
She's wearing a turtleneck, and the witch slices her throat, but the turtleneck's fine, intact, not a single scuff.
Yeah, and we turned around and said that turtleneck is the best armor to wear as long as you don't get cut.
Absolutely.
You're never going to get hurt.
My question is, though, that the girlfriend was attacked upstairs, right? How did she was attacked upstairs and she was effectively laying there bleeding to death. Yeah. How did she get up and get down the stairs?
We said exactly
what I said. Is the fact she was stabbed in the neck and it spurted out a lot of blood to the point that they thought, oh my God, she's going to die. Yeah. She managed to walk downstairs, fight off this witch a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then was perfectly fine to kick and scream when she got tied up.
See, I like some of the death scenes. The killing of the babysitter was done quite well. I quite like that. Yes. There were a few other death scenes and things like that. The carving up of the girlfriend was quite good, but there was nowhere near enough blood for somebody who was being carved up like that.
So again, I like you said about that. I love the cookie cutter bit.
The one, oh yes, no, that was quite good. That was quite interesting. Yes, I must admit. One thing you got me right. I don't know if it's just me being a little bit odd, or I find it a little bit strange, maybe. But a bloke declaring his love for you when he's got half his face missing isn't really. It just seems a little odd somehow.
Oh, it's just the fact that I missed part of it because all I could hear was Amy going, "He's cheating on you."
I was having a whole other side one. There's certain bits that just really annoyed me.
The other thing was, did she cook the skin in a cold oven?
That's what I thought, because he grabs it and he grabs it and he doesn't burn himself, and I'm like, but it's been cooking in an oven.
Yeah.
And how would the witch know how to use an oven? That was my other point of anger. I was like, how would you know how to use a modern day oven? It just made me angry.
And the fact that it pinged and you went, "Oh, that wouldn't happen."
Yeah, pinged. There was a ping on their oven.
There was some really weird camera effects in it as well. I can't work out why they did them.
Like the days
Yeah,
when he gets all
when
dazed and it's
the
suddenly
man
all...
gets
Yeah.
dazed. I was like, because Amy tells, I was like, why are they doing that? She went, because he's dazed. I'm like, yeah, but the granddad was smashed in the head with an axe, and he looked at him and did he hit me, and he was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, it's
Didn't quite
I don't know.
understand as well. He was fighting the witch inside. How then, when his daughter found him, was he sitting outside?
He was knocked unconscious on the floor in the
Yeah.
living room
Yeah,
and ended up on the outside of the
he was
cabin.
pushed over. He was pushed over and knocked unconscious.
I mean, on the whole, it was really more than a little slow, and it was really
Yeah,
quite boring.
there were
lots of
parts
ways.
of it as well that seemed very, very, very obvious.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
The whole axe at the end, like the sort of kill with that, I thought was very obvious.
Yeah.
I will say though, and I think we both sort of agreed that the twist on the end of it,
Yeah. I wasn't expecting the twist at the
the
end.
twist of how what had actually happened,
yeah. I suppose.
I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
You know, for
I
like
know what you mean.
who did what and everything like that.
The
I
other,
thought
I know-
the other thing that got me is that all these people like this in the church are talking about what happened in the past. Not one of their like relatives is questioning the fact that that group of adults murdered someone. And
Yeah.
they're all fine with it. Not one person questioned
Also,
why are you murdering other
Yeah.
people and not
even,
been done
even,
for
the
it.
fact that, even the fact that one of the women turns around and says, but it wasn't me, and they would know who your grandmother was. They went, oh, all right then.
They didn't question the fact that all their grandparents had murdered someone.
It is this thing. It's sort of like I don't know. The whole film to me was just kind of. I kind of got to the end of it, and when they had the twist at the end, by the time it got to that point, yes, I wasn't expecting it, but I didn't really care.
No,
No.
I don't know. I've sat and watched some really awful films, and as we've gone through on this, but I think to sum it up, actually, out of all of it, Amy's quote to it, which just shows how bad this film was, which was we got to the end of it. She sat there next to me and then went, I'd rather watch Humanoids of the Deep.
I would openly, quite happily watch that movie over this any
Oh,
day.
dear.
And I sat there and went, oh, surely it's not that bad. And then I sat there and thought about it. I'm like, no, that's a very good point.
See, I wrote down here at the end after I've watched it all. I wrote an okay film, not funny enough to be really funny, not bad enough to be so bad it's good, not good enough to be a good film. It's just okay.
Yeah.
But it's slow and not well acted.
Yeah, on the end of my notes, I wrote WTF with about 4 question marks. I
Yeah,
didn't quite know what to write else.
I wrote that a couple of times while I was watching it throughout.
Yeah, this is the thing is, I sat there and I was just like, there were certain bits that were very well done. Like as I said, the wounds, the open wounds on Amy's dad in it and granddad were very well done, and I thought that the certain cutting bits like the cookie cut were very well done.
Yeah,
but that doesn't make up for the rest of the film.
My biggest question about this film is, having sat and watched it all the way through, I would like to ask one question: how the hell did they get to make a follow-up? Well, there is a Mother Krampus 2.
Well, the thing is that I looked it up, and even though it's got the same Mother Krampus bit, and it's nothing to do with what actually happened in the film. First off, this one's in England. Number 2's in Ohio in America. There's completely everyone else dies in the first one. None of them are in the first one, and it's nothing to do with it other than the name. That's it.
Maybe they sold the name to somebody else. It's yeah.
Well, what I say though is it shows. Yeah, IMDb show information on every film that is on their site.
Yeah,
they've got information on films that you probably wouldn't even know have been made into films. Now, I typed in Mother Krampus into IMDb, and the only bit of information I could find was the cast. there was no filming location. There was nothing on there about anything else, about how much like the budget. There was no trivia on it, which every film has on the site.
So what I love is when you get things that say, "Do you know anything about this film?"
Yeah, I typed it. I was like, I wonder where this is filmed, because I was confused the whole way through it. And I was like, it's got to have a filming location, and it just comes up and. Unfortunately, we don't know where it was filmed, and I'm like, is that part of the film that they don't want to put out where it was filmed?
Yeah, maybe.
Or is where it was filmed don't want to be associated with the film?
I don't want people knowing because people might go there and look for them.
It was
The only other thing I would say, on a good side, is I think that they use the music pretty well throughout the film.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was well used.
Yeah.
But it's just not something I would honestly say was worth watching.
No.
At all.
No. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed. Like, I know this is sound weird, but I like a lot of stuff to do with Krampus.
Yeah.
The whole
See, the other thing
originality.
This is supposedly based on an urban legend. I've never heard this urban legend in England. Of Mother Krampus turning up in the 12 days of Christmas and taking children.
No.
So the only urban legend I've heard about that was actually to do with Krampus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's an Eastern European thing.
Yeah. And I don't understand what this would have to do, what anything would have to do with this to do with England for a start.
No.
Why is anything to do associated with it?
I don't know.
And the fact that obviously where it was based is nowhere in England. Where it should have actually been.
I really don't understand it at all. It's a mystery to me how it got made, why they made a follow-up, or how they made a follow-up. And it's a mystery to me as to how it's got so many bloody views on YouTube, to be honest with you.
And the fact you had multiple friends say that they like this.
Yes. I will say this. And I'm going to make this public. I don't care if there's people will watch this later on and use it against me. I'm going to find my friends that showed around and said they love this film, and I'm just going to lay into it because there's obviously something wrong with it.
The only thing I can think of is that there must be another film called Mother Krampus that they're talking about.
Film, yeah.
One of them swears is this film, and I really want to phone them and just say, "Are you okay?" Because there's obviously something wrong with them.
Some people like things that are, I don't know. I don't know why anyone would like. To be honest, it's just it wasn't something it's not something I would ever want to watch again.
No, and I wouldn't. Even if someone come up to me and said, "Look, here's £1 million, would you watch it again?" I'd be like, "Hey, you're right, mate."
I'm not sure about that. I might sit through it for £1 million, but then
I wonder if I could fall asleep.
I'm a mercenary.
I almost actually did this time.
So there you go. That's Mother Krampus for you. That's our objective view of a film.
Yeah.
Right.
Please don't let our point of view put you off from going to watch it. Make up your own mind about how rubbish it is.
Absolutely. Right. On to the next one. This is our science fiction offering. From 1964, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. This is a classic film. I'm still not completely sure whether it's supposed to be a children's film or not.
Don't know.
So there you go. Right. So Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, 1964, directed by Nicholas Webster, who he directed a few other films, but nothing major really. Written by Glenville Merritt. Producer was Paul L. Jacobson. Music Milton Delug. Director of photography David L. Quaid. Makeup George Fiala. Costumes Ramsey Mostola. Art direction Morris Gordon. The cast: John Call plays Santa. Leonard Hicks, Vincent Beck. He did lots of TV, including playing Merlin in an episode of The Time Tunnel. Bill McCutcheon, who appeared on lots of TV programs, including Sesame Street for quite a while.
Awesome.
Victor Stiles, Donna Conforti, Chris Month, Pia Zadora. Now, Pia Zadora went on to have a modelling and singing career, and was actually in the 80s was quite a big sort of a big thing. She played one of the Martian children.
Okay.
She did acting, modelling, and singing in the 80s. Lelia Martin, Charles Wren, James Cahill, Med Wormiter, and Doris Rich. Yeah. So there is no synopsis to this as such that I can find, but basically it's like, the Martians decide that they need to cheer their children up, so they're going to kidnap Santa Claus so we can bring Christmas to the Martian children. I got to say, it's made in 1964, but it looks a lot older. It looks like it was made in the 1950s or even older than that. The introduction to it, the title sequence, it does look, and it has the look and the feel of a kid's cartoon film, and it's got a bloody awful song on it.
I don't know, someone found it very catchy.
What gets me is it's got the lyrics that come up, and it's spelled on the lyrics, it's spelled Santa, which is Santa, and they still pronounce it Santy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I just want to punch them.
Yeah, no, what I found with it is the fact that I was getting more distracted by the fact that, it was the way they were singing it. But all I could feel next to me was Amy dancing.
It made me think of Austin Powers, and then I started singing Austin Powers in my head. So
Okay, but it's just like your average awful kids Saturday morning kids TV show, really.
Yeah,
which I hated, and so there you go. Okay, do we want to do an all overall thing of what you thought about the film as a whole? Do we want to go through it?
let's do an overall first.
Yeah, go on then. You're right, Pete. You do an overall.
Okay.
Well, I can see you two didn't like it, but I quite enjoyed it.
It
don't get me wrong, like, yes, when you see a movie is made from that era, automatically in my brain I was like, oh, here we go, I'm ready after that first film. I'm like, I'm ready. But yes, it's very dated, very, very dated, and there's a lot of mistakes were made throughout. It was just a wholesome film. Like, it's just brought it back to, the wholesome thing with Santa Claus, and I actually didn't think it was too bad. It dragged a bit. I felt like I was sat there for about 4 hours watching it, but it was just a wholesome Christmas film. It was just trying to bring Christmas cheer back to them.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. It's not like it makes a change from most Christmas films. It was just a wholesome film that they tried to make with Santa Claus.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of see what you mean, and it has things going for it. I'm not a huge fan of Christmas films anyway.
No, I'm not, to be fair.
I don't like cheesy Christmas films at all. It is what it is, and it is just kind of there is a lot about it that is almost at the point of being so bad it's good.
Yeah.
But there's a lot about it that you just kind of go, oh, really?
Yeah.
It is. It is a dated film. You can't go into it thinking, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. But if you were a kid from that era seeing that film, from that point of view, that would have blown your mind.
But interestingly enough, for a dated film that is from that time, there was very little in it that I would say was overtly sexist, racist, or anything like that.
I was quite surprised with that. There's a few things that if they were trying to use nowadays, they would have been branded like really badly. But other than that, it weren't too bad. I was waiting for a few things that are a bit left field compared to what they can do nowadays. But it was actually quite well done with how they come across with other things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sat there the whole way through this, and I was like laughing the whole time, pretty much. Yeah, there were certain bits in it that I thought were very, like, I do agree with what Amy said. It was very wholesome in certain places. There were certain bits that were very obvious that it was made for an American audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the whole the images and the footage of the American military and the American Air Force being the ones, the saviors, and they could do it all. And it's a very dated film, but I do agree. It felt like it was actually an older film than it was.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I sat there for ages. And I was like, this film feels like it's been on forever. And it seemed like it took a long time for anything to happen.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Saying, though, I will say, and I love the top comment I found on the site on YouTube when this was on. The top comment I've looked through, the others are pretty much the same. So the top comment I found this, and it says, "It's the absolutely worst film ever made. I can't wait to see it again."
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't understand why anyone would want to watch this again.
Now,
But
I mean, the whole premise at the beginning, the idea that they've got this TV camera crew in Santa's workshop.
Yeah.
Which nobody's supposed to know where it is. And
the fact that it's signposted.
Yeah. And they're filming in there. There is one bit in that scene where Santa picks up a doll. But it's got a different head when he picks it up to the one that it is when it's laying on the bench.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, that's a bit weird. But
that's a bit weird for this film.
Well, it's one of the things. Right, here's some things that I picked up on. You say, why is it? How is it that the Martians are eating the same sort of food as us when they can't possibly grow it?
Yeah,
the food they're eating, they're talking about vegetables and things which are the same as we have here, but they can't possibly grow them.
Yeah, and it's just this. The fact that they can all understand each other as well. Everyone speaks fluent English.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Both Martians on Earth and humans on Mars could breathe fine, perfectly fine, no problems with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The fact is just there's so much in this film that just I don't know, it just doesn't make sense.
The thing to me is you've got this situation where you've got kids, you've got Santa Claus, you've got the Martians, right? Okay, do we really need the rather stupid and very annoying comedy character?
The fact there's 3 of them.
No, I know, but that one guy who was the obvious cretin. And it's like, did we really need him in the film?
Yeah, I don't know. There's so much to this film that just doesn't make sense.
One of my favourite lines near the beginning of it is when the Martians turn up and they find the 2 kids. And he says, "Don't be afraid." They got guns pointed at their heads.
Yeah.
And he says, "Don't be afraid."
What I love the whole way through this as well is the fact that the news reporter seemed amazingly knowledgeable on what was going on.
Well, of course.
It's just what I loved as well, though, is the fact that it was the bits where it was going, the government, we think this is happening, or it could be, and it explains exactly what's just happened. But okay, but
it must also be quite warm at the North Pole because the kids didn't seem to need any extra clothing.
No, they complain about the fact it's cold, but other than that, and the fact that Santa's walking around with his sleeves rolled up.
Yeah, well, he's used to it.
Well, or the fact that the cape that the main guy's wearing, even though you can hear the wind going past, is not moving. It's just static.
And
proper gale force wind. And
the very obvious man in a bear suit.
Yes,
And the man in the robot
the polar
suit.
bear.
And man in a cardboard box. Man in a cardboard box robot suit. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, but that bear really got me. It's like sort of, that's obviously a man crawling on all fours.
Yeah.
But it's not even the fact that it was like, I wonder what it is. It was, well, that's a bloke in a bear suit. It's just standing there.
He's got the camera on his way through.
When he comes out the cave after fighting the kids, blatantly turns around and headbutts the camera. It's just
the thing you were saying about them all speaking the same. The thing got me is not only do the Martians speak perfect English, but they read and write it too.
Yeah.
Very skilled.
And what I think is hilarious as well is the fact that at the start of the film, the kids are watching, like the Martian kids are watching where Santa lives.
Yeah.
It says at the North Pole.
Yeah.
You get the adults still go to America, kidnap 2 American kids to find out where Santa lives.
Absolutely. Well, you know.
And it just,
the parents weren't watching the film.
No, I say, we wrote down as well as the set design.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, wasn't the best in the world, but it was good for the.
Yeah, it was pretty
very
good.
well done.
There was a lot of
the fact that in a spaceship that there's a big window that looks like into space, and about 4 times they go, we've landed, and it's still space.
Yeah. When they get into when they go in at night to the toy thing, it's the most unconvincing fight I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
it's like sort of they're fighting in slow motion almost, and not hitting each other, not actually landing any punches or anything. It's awful. But then they get put in this storeroom.
Yeah.
They get put in the storeroom, and my question is, well, not only are the 3 bad guys really stupid, but my question is, right, how come, or why is there a fire extinguisher outside the door of the storeroom and a snowboard in the storeroom?
Yeah, I thought that as well.
Where do they go snowboarding on Mars?
The other bit that confused me and the point that I laughed, was what was the point in swapping the bulbs over on the machine?
I don't know.
So it's not like the guy was looking at it.
I know.
He could have just turned it off and run out. It didn't make any sense.
I don't know. But then the guy had to go over and switch it over and turn the back again.
Yeah.
Why?
It's just a bit I don't understand.
I mean, there was a lot of Earth sort of rubbish and stuff in that storeroom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which I didn't. Why would it be there? What? Do they really need the same sort of stuff as us and Mars?
I didn't know wrong. There were certain bits in it that I thought was very, very interesting because of the fact that like this was made in 1964, and there's a lot of things that were put in are talked about now, which is like the whole technology to kids when they young age, they grow up a lot faster than they actually are. Lose out a lot of stuff as they get in their childhood. And the fact that the whole automating everything.
Yeah.
And Santa sits there and says, oh, we wouldn't have this issue if we were hand making them, if we were doing this, we wouldn't have these issues. But automating it makes it faster, but also go wrong.
Yeah.
And I sat there and thought to myself, like, that's quite interesting, bearing in mind that nowadays we're having that exact same conversation.
It's quite an interesting thing. Firstly, the automation thing, plus also the thing about making it more about the family and about love and all this kind of stuff, and also about making it so that it's kind of it's not a sort of a you're doing this for the family, for everyone, and this kind of thing. It was so against the American thing,
Yeah.
especially at that time, because the Americans have always been so commercial.
Yeah.
It would be really odd going and sort of like, well, hang on, we're going anti-commercialism, anti sort of big business here and all this kind of stuff, which really wasn't the American thing at all. That's quite a big thing, I suppose, really.
And that's the thing, is the fact that it's for then as well, then especially, but for now as well. Fact that yes, this is very dated with a lot of the stuff, the way it was filmed, the acting, a lot of stuff like that. But it's for me, it was very surprising how relevant topics were in it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Even though that really that's a topic that seems to crop up every now and again. So I remember you and Mum and a few others saying that about when I was growing up. Was, oh, do you need all this technology? And I know I've said it with my two, which makes me sound so much older than I actually am.
It comes to us all in the end, mate.
Yeah, but that's the point. It's the fact that it's almost like a generational thing. It's the fact that it comes up. The fact that it's since 1960, this is still a relevant topic.
Yeah, no.
Don't be wrong, the rest of the film doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, the film is pretty rubbish, but I think if you look at it as it's a kid's film, I think.
Yeah.
And as such, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's rubbish, but it's not bad rubbish.
Well, I looked at it like going into it. At first, I was going to be like, "Oh my god, this is going to be a drag," but I thought about it as like, if you were a kid in the 1960s, seeing this for the first time with all like the Martians, spaceships and stuff, it would have been so epic. Like I remember watching things like Star Wars when they first come out and stuff like that. The first time you see that sort of thing, your mind is blown. And that's the way I thought about this film. Yeah, looking at it as an adult, it is very silly. There's a lot of mistakes and it's very obvious that it's old. But looking at it from the eyes of what a kid would have seen it was really good. If you were a kid at that era, you would have been like, oh my God, this is amazing. And that's kind of the way to look at it. Like if you watch it, don't go in being judgmental. Yes, it's silly and it is fun. It's a fun film.
It is quite funny. There are lots of bits about it that are funny. I don't necessarily think that all the bits that are funny were intentionally meant to be funny.
Yeah. But just go in looking at it with an open mind, like how far you can look at it, like how far films have come from then to the 70s, to the 80s, to the 90s, and so on. How far it's actually come. And I thought it was a really it was rubbish, but it's a film I would probably watch again.
Yes.
You know, if someone was like, would you watch it with me? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah, it was a good laugh. It was a good. It was. I ended up watching at the end of this film, thinking, "Oh well, that was a bit of fun for a little while."
Yeah, I will say I'm very impressed. I'm impressed with the way that they've done the rocket ship and the way that was flying. Admittedly, I was expecting it to be the whole like little toy on a string and being able to see it. But the fact that it was done differently, I thought was very well done. I was wondering at the end of it when Santa turns around to the kids and says, "Come on, let's go home," and leaves the Martians on Mars. It's like, if he could get home without them, why didn't he do that beforehand?
Yes, well, there is that.
But it just, I don't know. I think it's a very wholesome film. There's a lot of stuff that can carry on with it. I think, I agree with Amy. If someone says to me, I'm going to watch it, do you fancy watching it? I would go, yeah, all right, I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
I probably would, I don't know, not feel the fact that it's dragged on as long because I know what's going to happen. But, and I would probably be a bit more prepared for the stuff that goes on in it. But I do think it's a very good film.
It is. I mean, yes, that thing says it is rubbish, but it's a good rubbish.
It's the thing. It's obviously like Amy knows, we've all watched some god awful films where we sit there and go, do you know what? I ain't watching that again.
Yeah.
But there are also a lot of films out there that are so atrocious that they're good.
Yeah.
This is one of them ones that the fact that I would quite happily go back to and watch this a couple of times. I'm not saying that a lot of them, but at least a couple. But I do think it's a very good film.
It is. It is. Okay, well there you go. So we've got one bad film that's worth watching that's good, one bad film that isn't worth watching that's bad.
Yep.
As we say all the time, please go and make your own minds up.
Yes.
I will say as well, as Amy said, it's the fact that you can see in a lot of these films, you can see from the 1964 film where films come.
Yeah.
Judging by Mother Krampus in 2017, they obviously had a hiccup somewhere and went back about it. But they have brought it back to normal. So I'm glad with that.
Yeah.
Just keep an open mind when you're watching like the older films.
Absolutely.
So many people, you like when like I had the date of this, automatically you judge it.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. But
Yeah,
like
the
you
eyes
need
rolled
to
and
go
everything.
back into it, thinking of like when you were a kid yourself, when you first saw like Star Wars or different things like that, how much it blew your mind. That's kind of how you need to think about it. Is be like a little bit more open-minded and
Absolutely.
think about it from like a different point of view. Because as adults, we can sit here and slaughter like most films for hours, as you two do weekly. But it's like you need to kind of just go in it with an open mind, especially with that one. It's a light-hearted film and it's just a bit of good fun just for a
Absolutely.
little while.
Yeah, definitely. I will say that due to the film being the one that we've done, I have already chosen a film that we will be doing next season, based partly on doing this film, and that is a film called Voyage of the Rock Aliens.
Oh, see, I read this out to you, and you
Voyage of the Rock Aliens. We're doing that because that film was made in 1984, and that stars Pia Zadora, who played one of the kids, the Martian kids in this film.
Yes.
So I thought you might like to see how she grew up and how better her acting is in that film.
It's just, I do feel sorry for the kids in a lot of these films, especially the older films, because of the fact that a lot of them a lot of the adults in these films get tarnished with they tarnish the films because of the fact that they've gone on.
I know what you mean.
And then the kids go on to do amazing films, and then they still have that. Oh, I'm not saying all of them, but at least some of them go on to do.
I was going to say, keep that in mind when you watch Voyage of the Rock.
Yeah, well, like some of them go on to make amazing films, but obviously they've got that blemish on their past.
Yeah.
See, that's how I felt about that poor girl that played Amy in Mother Krampus. All the way through, I felt sorry for her. Yeah. It's not her fault that the movie was just awful. And now she's been like branded that she was like the main star of this film.
Judging from it, she hasn't actually gone on and done a lot of that.
Well, no, but it's only a couple of years. I mean, it's not, we've been in lockdown for 2 of them. So.
Yeah,
And then again, her whole look has changed. So, but that's she's gone on and done 4 other films.
I think they're probably all ones that have been made by the same people, though. So.
Yeah, probably.
Right, so that's these 2 films sorted out and done. We'll put links up to them so everyone can watch them themselves, make their own minds up, and the next episode, which will be the very last one of the year, is just going to be a short thing where we're just going to go through films that we've watched over the year, recommend ones that we recommend to people to watch and to look out for, not just the ones that we've done and reviewed, but maybe other ones as well, sort of other films we've seen either online or on video. I'm showing you
video,
DVD, or at the seminar or wherever.
Cinema, I fancy you. Closest I get to a cinema is turning the lights off in my bedroom watching it.
I went to the cinema to the Romford Horror Film Festival.
I was going to say, that's the last time I think I've heard you say about it. I think the last time we went to the cinema was No, actually.
I saw Incredibles 2 when that came out. That was the last time I went to the
I think the
cinema.
last time I went to the cinema, I went to see Warcraft.
No, hang on, I'm trying to think. Apart from the Romford,
Oh, no,
Horror
hang on.
Film- apart from the Romford Horror Film Festival, I think the last time I went to cinema, I think might have been to see. It was either Avengers Assemble or possibly the last thingy film. You know, that one. The one with the Umbrella Corporation and that in
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil film, yeah.
The
Might have been
last
that.
film. What?
I don't know, but this is a special film edition because I am actually wearing the T-shirt that I wore
Yes.
when I was in Redcon 1.
You're in for all of about 5 seconds.
I know I was in it for all of about 5 seconds, and you can't see the T-shirt properly, but that's not the point. This was the T-shirt I was wearing.
It's his claim to fame.
One day
No.
it might be worth money. Somebody might want to collect it because that film might become a cult classic if anybody ever bothers to watch it.
Yeah, I've tried watching it at least 6 times. I'm about 10 minutes into it, and I can't be asked.
I'm going to go through it one of these times and you work out exactly how long in my bit is, and you can just fast forward it through to that bit.
Oh, I've tried, and I thought about going through frame by frame, but that film's long enough as it is.
Yeah, no, I'll find out exactly where my bit is, and then you can just fast forward to that bit and watch that bit, and then
you can watch the bit where his arms, your arm and your tattoo. That's as far as you can see.
Yeah, you sod you. Yeah.
I'll watch it.
I'm saying I've tried watching it. It just doesn't do anything for me because it's all about a zombie apocalypse that happens in London, but all of the people are in America.
Well, they're not all American.
Oh, most of them are.
Some of them are. But also, it's not about zombie apocalypse as such.
You know, no.
Because they're too sentient to be zombies.
Still zombies.
If they attack people individually rather than in big groups.
They're hunters. They're hunter zombies, like from a Get
Don't justify the film.
My brain went into logic mode then.
No, there's no point doing that. It's not that good a film, especially because of the fact that, from what I can work out, they rewrote the story while they were editing it because what we were told was going to happen in it didn't happen. We did a whole day's filming, and from what I can work out, a big section of the story was changed, so the whole day of filming we did was condensed into literally about sort of 3 seconds. And it was like, what?
Crazy.
Don't kill us.
But there you go. These things happen. So yes, we are going to be going now, and there will be another episode of this next Thursday, which will be the last one of the year.
Last one of the year.
So happy Christmas to all.
Yep.
And remember, a dog isn't just for Christmas. If you carve it properly, it can last into the new year.
And you had a go at me about my dog.
That was funny.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you for having me again.
Not a problem at all. Thank you, Scott.
That's okay. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you, me. No problem. Thank you for asking. Thank you for inviting me again. Oh, that's all right. Thank you. Thank you for deciding to be coming with us. Oh, that's marvelous. You're a wonderful person. I know I am. Thank you. Anyway, we will see you again soon. Don't drink too much or too little. So exactly the right amount for whatever it is that you wish to do.
Whatever liquid you wish to partake in, make sure you drink just the right
amount to get exactly to the point that you want to get at, whatever that may be. And we will see you again soon. Okay. Bye.
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 Bye. The Sciforror Film Podcast.